everyone, and welcome to the 80s and 90s Retro Collector. Today we're going to go into Retro Giant in Romford and have a look at what new stuff they got in. They've got a few new games coming, so we're going to check that out. I've picked up lots of games off of them in the past, so we're going to pop in there and have a little look around. And in the meantime, here's a few stories from some of our great friendly team on what they enjoy about gaming. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, welcome to the 80s and 90s Retro Collector, and of course we're here. My name is Badger and this is Viking, and we're doing a quick little video for Swaley, about 3 minutes long, about our favourite retro games. Now mine of course was Tetris, because of that lovely music. It's music to my ears and it's embedded in my brain forever. And of course, Super Mario Land 2 on the Game Boy. That doesn't need any explaining. And they're ultra awesome favourites. But Viking's got one that needs a bit more chat about and needs explaining. So go for it.
Well, yours is a bit later on. Mine is very early on. So growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. But my dad, we kind of now have decided that my dad has some sort of autism, could count and do numbers really well. So my dad had got himself an Amstrad. And you could take a blank cassette and you used to get a magazine every month and it'd have the binary code in it to do your own games. But luckily, I think it was my uncle Vic gave my dad this Amstrad and he gave him a few games. So I think I must have been about, sort of 5 or 6, so 85, 86 sort of area. Yeah. And one of them was called Roland on the Ropes. Ooh. And it is one of my top 10 games of all time. Okay. Because it's my earliest memory of a computer game. And it was just a little guy. And you'd have lots of little levels, like in the cave, and you'd have to go up and down the ladder. Well, it was ropes. It wasn't it was ropes. And he could fall down, he could get, I think it was a snake or something. But it's my earliest memory is of an Amstrad. It was that, and my dad sort of like going, we could have this, and he didn't have sound on it to start with, and then he got speakers so you could have the little sound on it. Yeah. And it was an absolutely fantastic game. I can't remember what the other games were that we really had on the Amstrad, because he had quite a few games given to him, and you had a few that he sat there and done himself. But I will always go back to Roland on the Ropes. Dad would get me, do you want to play this game? I'd play it for a little while and go straight back to Roland on the Ropes. And things haven't changed very much. I still play one game now, and it's not that. No.
But obviously, I remember programming drafts and stuff like that. And I had an Amstrad CPC 464, but it was a lot later in life. It was in my mid-20s. And I
couldn't even tell you what my dad's one was. I just remembered it was the keyboard, it was the monitor, and then it was like a little tape deck that was separate.
I used to play games like Zool, Blues Brothers, all those sorts of games, because you could
they were later on.
Yeah, you could program those, and you'd be there for hours and hours and hours programming. But it was really cool because it had like the mid sections of like the Blues Brothers theme tune, but it'd just go over and over again in your brain. I remember there was one called Strider in the Crypts of Trogan. That was really cool. And a lot of...
I can remember Lemmings. That was another one that was on the Amstrad, along with other consoles. That's popular.
Right. And there was a lot of old school games on there. I used to like the text-based adventures. I still love that sort of FMV sort of style, where you literally wrote, walk into the corner of the room, and it would go, there's an orc, and you go, fight the orc and all that, and you type it all in, walk west, walk right, and things like that. So that's just a quick little chat about some retro games for us, and I hope you're all having a great time with the rest of the show, and let us know if you do pop in. Please do subscribe to Brawling Badger Productions, and we'll see you in the next vlog, video stream, movie or short, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey Retroheads, it's Nick here, and well, today, while I'm on my way to filming, Swaley has asked me to talk a bit about my past with video games. I've never been very good at them, I'll confess this, and we were a bit of a late starter to video games in our family. We first got a NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, for Christmas in 1991. And it came with the first Super Mario game, and well, at the time that was all we needed. We were pretty much all hooked instantly. I know the original Super Mario game does look dated by today's standards, but it's easy to forget just how amazing and innovative it was at the time. And we pretty much swore allegiance to Nintendo because we couldn't afford both Nintendo and Sega machines. But so many good games that we played along the way. Dizzy, Kirby. My microphone has fallen down. This is what happens when you do videos while walking. As well as Dizzy, Kirby, Legend of Zelda. So many good games that just like in the 90s were the most exciting thing ever. There was probably a bunch of grown-ups complaining about how we spent far too much time on them. But you know, if they'd had them in their day, they'd probably been addicted to them as well. I got my first Game Boy in 1993. I was 12. I have no idea how I managed to save up enough money for it, but you know, I absolutely love Tetris. I had Lemmings as well, which I really enjoyed. There were a bunch of Mario games for that one, which were all great, and lots of other games I liked. The Tiny Toon games were really good fun, and Wario, who can forget him? So many good ones. The last time I really played on a video game that much was Spyro on the PS2, I think it was, year 2000, which I like to think I did okay at. I didn't collect absolutely everything that you need, all the jewels and stuff that you needed to complete the game, but you know, I like to think I did well. I don't do a lot of that kind of video gaming nowadays, as I don't really have a lot of time, and also, as I mentioned, I'm not very good at it, but it's an important part of my history and my childhood that I'm thankful for. And hopefully, those of you watching this, passing, will know exactly what I mean. Thanks for watching today, everyone. Don't forget, you can find me on all the socials at Nickfield Media and also at nickfieldmedia.com. And come and see one of my comedy shows soon as well.
Well, good morning everyone. My name's Lee and I'm watching the 80s and 90s Retro Collector. When it comes to gaming, I remember growing up in the 80s, you know, coming from London, growing up with my younger siblings. I remember the first computer that came in the house, and it was like 2 bars with a ball, like the game of tennis, growing up in the 80s. And then, you know, we used to go down to the local arcades in the social club in London and go and play Pac-Man and Space Invaders. And that was when we had that game, you know, in the house, and we used to play. Remember, as a child, me and my school friends and siblings, we used to play Pac-Man and Space Invaders. So these are the games that I remember growing up in the 80s, you know, when they first came out. So yeah, so bye for now, speak to you soon.
Jackson. Jasper Rooney. Jazz, quick! What's this? Look, quick, Jazz! Quick! Who's this? Look! Come on, quick, Jazz, say hello! Come on! Yeah! Say hello, Shauna! Hello, Sean! Yeah. You can't eat Daddy. Daddy's not edible. Got a little vampire here. Yeah! Ow! Little pickles. Little retro collector pickles. My little ninjas, my little 80s and 90s retro monsters. Bye for now. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Phil here. Welcome back again to the 80s and 90s Retro Collector. Enjoy! Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Now, topic of today is 80s and 90s gaming consoles. Now, what I've got here, as far as I can remember, and I did some homework on this, folks, retro fans, is 1982, the ColecoVision console. One of the first of many consoles to come out in the early 1980s. This is prior to the Atari, competing with the Atari 2600, and also parts of the arcade classics, including the first version of Nintendo's Donkey Kong. And also Sega's Zaxxon, as far as I'm aware. And also, notably, on the ColecoVision was offering the arcade ports of lesser known of the Ladybug and Cosmic Avenger, an venture that would be easier to come by on other subsequent platforms. And that's one of the first of many. Also, the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985. Nintendo with Super Mario Brothers, the Mario Brothers, early parts of Donkey Kong, and also Mike Tyson's Punch. As the Super Nintendo. Bear with me, folks. Also, Tiger Electronics LCD, the handheld consoles. Your handheld things, just similar to like the Game Boy, as you would see. In 1985, bowling. And also the Nintendo's Sega handheld counterparts, Tiger Electronics, represented in the 1980s and early 90s. There you go, folks, just a little bit of an insight there. And Sega Master System in 1986. Just a little bit for you. I have more, but obviously there's just a little bit of what I've got for the moment, just to give you the little insight of gaming itself. I have a lot more, but as far as I'm aware, this is what I've got at the moment to give you. Otherwise there'd be bigger footage in this. And not forgetting, not just on the Phil Carew Show, host of the Phil Carew Show, don't forget 80s and 90s Retro Collector. I will have John Stevenson and Mark Vallant on my show in regards to 80s and 90s film vehicles that they're using for their world record pulling. Yep, record holding, pulling of 90s and 80s retro vehicles. All right, stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be back soon. I know it's short and sweet. There'll be a lot more content coming over to you. And to love you, leave you, folks. Have a great day. I need some more coffee. Have a great day. That's once I get my words out. Okay. Adios. Ciao. Cookie, cookie, cookie. You need a coffee. This one, the force will come. You must drink more coffee. Bye for now, folks. See you on the other side.
I'm in that. I played a lorry driver in that. Black Widow, Marvel. Amazing experience, 2019. Loved it. Met Scarlett Johansson. An amazing experience, Pinewood Studios. Black Widow. And because of that, I'm going to pick this up. Because I was in it. Check it out, guys, IMDb. I've been also in The Batman. I was a gangster in one of the scenes in that. All of it's on, if you just Google my name, it all comes up. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Daniel Egan and I'm an actor, and I was in Star Wars A Rogue One Story. I played two characters, a Death Trooper and a Partisan. And I'd like to say hello to all my fans, and especially 80s and 90s retro collector. Thank you.
You're watching the 80s and 90s retro collector.
You're watching the 80s and 90s retro collector. Come on!
80s and 90s Retro Collector. Not just a channel about action figures, but a channel where action figures.
Hello, it's me, Brawling Badger, star of Ballamoran, Drained and Essex FBI Investigates, and you are watching the 80s and 90s Retro Collector.